And tonight on the Daily Wrap, Donald Trump continues to move ahead of the pack as Hillary faces a downhill slide. Is it now time for Joe Biden to jump in the race? The head of the DNC proves once again that a degree in political science is not necessary in order to be the head of the party. Support for President Obama's Iran deal is dwindling. And would you like to see Ann Coulter be Donald Trump's press secretary? We talk about that and much, much more live from New York City. And welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Joe Concha, joined by my co-host, Rick Unger, who will also be part of the Trump cabinet at this point. I'm thinking since
well, I mean,
if
Coulter can be, I think I can be.
You think so?
I don't think that's asking too much, do you?
Done deal. What are we talking about tonight? Let's see. Big
we
topic.
got a lot. You know, for August, I said this time and time again. I'm fascinated by the vice president. I really am. I think that'll be a big part of tonight's conversation and a big part of the conversation for the week to come.
It's been dominating the news all day, no question. And to Mr. Unger's right, she's America's pundit and a Philly attorney, and apparently a very engaging weekend for Miss Hanson.
Engaging weekend.
Congratulations. What people want to know, we're just going to hijack this segment with this stuff right now. Will you become your, can we say his name?
Sure, but
Heather Leibowitz, or will you stay Heather Hansen? Lieberman, I keep doing that.
She's going to be Heather Hansen, Reporter John.
I'm going to be always be Heather Hansen. Always and forever be Heather Hansen.
Yeah, just don't hyphenate that. If you're like Hansen,
Reporter John.
Lieberman, that's a long name to put on a check. Anyway, congratulations. I predicted this would happen on the 6th try.
You did.
And finally, Forbes.com columnist and Emmy winner. He is also married as well. His name is Bill Tucker. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
Let's see your ring.
It's right here.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Got our ring.
Coin
Yeah.
Edge, classic ring.
They all look the same. All right, everybody, let's get right to the Daily Download. Leibowitz. It's Lieberman. Anyway, we're starting to feel like a broken record here at the Wrap. It's Monday, and there is another national poll that reveals Donald Trump is crushing his competition. In the latest Monmouth University poll, the Donald takes a 2-to-1 lead over Jeb Bush. Add it all up, and Trump has gained 13 points in 2 weeks. Here's some interesting points from the poll. Trump leads Walker 27 to 16% among very conservative voters, has 22% support among conservative voters to 14% for Bush and 12% for Walker, and takes 28% of moderate to liberal voters compared to 20% for Bush. Rick, across ideology lines, Mr. Trump is winning. It just keeps, you know what we thought? We thought that the McCain thing was going to hurt, and apparently the man is Teflon.
Well, first of all, let's be a little bit careful here. For starters, when we say across ideological groups, we're talking within the Republican Party.
Yes.
There's about 3 liberal Republicans left in the country, so I'm not sure that speaks. The other thing, too, that I think we have to be a little bit careful about, yes, in this poll, the Monmouth poll, he's rocking. But when you look at the average of polls, he's definitely still in the lead. But you see him much closer within the margin of error lead between Mr. Trump and then Walker and Bush. So, you know, we're at that stage. Obviously, this is a very big week.
It is.
The debate's going to tell us a lot.
Let's share some more numbers, shall we? Let's talk about the Tea Party. Tea Party supporters back Trump 35% over Walker's 15% and Cruz at 11%. Non-Tea Party supporters split their top support between Trump at 20 and Bush at 16. Bill, Trump is the Tea Party approved candidate apparently as well. Your thoughts?
But again, it's 15 months. I mean, I'm tempted to not I'm tempted to put a modifier in front of 15 months.
But if this is a stock, it just keeps going up.
It is, but it's interesting too. Well, the trend is your friend until it's not anymore. But Ed Rollins posted something really interesting this weekend. He said that the rest of the candidates in this race should take a lesson from Donald Trump, because he speaks bluntly, and then he doesn't backtrack. Back to the McCain thing. He never apologized for the McCain thing. It made his numbers go up. And I think in Ed's point was people are looking for somebody who's refreshing like that, who won't go, oh, gee, gosh, I kind of misspoke, but just stands by what they say.
Even when he misspeaks.
That's
Heather,
right.
we saw an example of that today where they asked him about taxes. and he said, you know what, I want to pay as little as possible. I want to avoid paying taxes as much as possible, which is different from Romney, who kind of, I don't want to say danced around the issue, but seemed to be embarrassed about his wealth.
Right.
Trump says, I'm rich, I don't care, and I don't want to give the government any of my money.
He's not a politician, and that is what I think people like. He doesn't say things because he thinks that it's what people want to hear. He doesn't backtrack because he thinks that's what people want to hear.
Except that he is saying exactly what he knows people want to hear.
But I don't think he's being disingenuous when he talks about not wanting to pay taxes.
No, I don't either.
I don't think there's. I think there's
so
very
either.
little about what he says that is disingenuous. That it happens to be what people want to hear, I think, is interesting. It may say a lot about what the Republican Party wants from their next president.
It may have something to do with a source that told me that he was backstage at a Trump thing and was speaking to Trump, and Trump said, "So what does this crowd want to hear?" And he told him. And Trump said, "Well, that's what I'll say."
Yeah.
So
his message has been pretty consistent.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not about his message. He doesn't have a message yet. What he has is a style. And he has a style that's definitely appealing to a segment of the population. I continue to point out, because I think it's only reasonable, add up all the rest of those people, and Trump's only got, what, 20-some%. We're not going to know. Look, you got to give him credit. I give him credit. He has far exceeded what I thought he would do. But when this thing starts to narrow, and it will, he'll probably still be there. I'll give him that. But you're going to see a real switch.
Yeah, and just a quick note of style. Rick, if we had a Democrat come out and have that same style, it would be his winning. I think we're just looking for that.
Democrats have manners.
And who knows, we may get that candidate, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But first, how does voters' age play into the election? Well, Trump has 26% and a clear lead over Bush at 15% and Walker 12% among voters aged 50 or older. Those under 50% also prefer Trump at 26 to Walker's 10 and Bush at 9. He seems to be liked by everybody, Heather, just quickly.
I mean, we've seen that. We've seen that within our own audience. They're big fans of Trump. We saw it in the polls that you guys have taken on the streets, where you see a lot of young men especially who seem to be drawn to him. A lot of that, I think, is the TV thing. He already has a personality that people know.
Right, exactly. He doesn't really have to define himself.
But if he was liked by everybody, he wouldn't have 26%, he'd have 100%.
That's true. But then again,
he's not liked by
we have
everybody.
the tape that says he would not exceed, what'd you say, about 14,
Well, and
15?
we also have the tape. We also have the tape where Mr. Trump told us that he would win the Latino vote. Are we going to be discussing that poll?
Okay, you're 1 for 2. It has been reported that both GOP head, his name is Reince. You like to say that, Rick? Let me get your Reince.
Reince Priebus.
Yes. And Fox News owner Rupert Murdoch have been critical, but that seems to be changing. 2 weeks ago, Rupert Murdoch tweeted the following: Fox Thursday debate, vital for all candidates. If Trump gets through unscathed, it will be a big win. Time for all to understand his support. That's very interesting, because Mr. Murdoch had a very different perspective on Donald Trump just a couple weeks ago. Is this Trump support forcing mainstream Republicans to rethink their position on him being in the race? Trump was asked about this on Meet the Press, if he was preparing for Thursday's debate.
Well, I'm not a debater. I've never debated before. I've never been on a stage debating. I guess my whole life has been a debate in one way, but I've never been on a formal stage debating, so I really don't know. I understand you have 9 other people that are going to be shooting at me, and that may be true, maybe not. But I really don't know. I don't have pollsters. I don't want to waste money on pollsters because, I don't want to be unreal. I want to be me. I have to be me.
Bill, he's definitely lowballing us, that's for sure. Here's the interesting part, that if you attack Trump, if you're one of the other 9 candidates, then you're drawing attention to him again. I think the goal of those 9 candidates is to not make it about Donald, but at the same time get the necessary jabs in on him. That's a very delicate dance.
It is a very delicate dance, but why don't they just take the lesson? He gave them the blueprint. Why don't they just get up there and start speaking their minds, start not taking back what they say, and they'll be on the road to catching up with this guy who's late. It's not like a secret here.
Rick, do you think this will be a turning point for Donald Trump, whether it be up or down this debate, or you think
I don't know. To me, the only real question that matters is Jon Stewart's leaving that night, the debates on that night. Which show will be funnier?
Either way, that will be one of the highest rated nights ever for an August in cable news history. I wrote about today on Media. Anyway, big media and critics say Donald Trump isn't prepared to take over the White House. Well, as you can see by our numbers, a growing number say he is. In fact, He wrote a whole book outlining exactly what he would do as president. It's called Time to Get Tough. The bestseller details Donald Trump's plan for our southern border, China, terrorism, and much, much more. If you want to learn more about Trump's plan, check it out or go to newsmax.com/TrumpBook and get your free offer. That's right, you can get the best-selling book, Time to Get Tough, for free. Go to newsmax.com/TrumpBook. More Daily Wrap in just a moment.